What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Scale News update. If you're not familiar with the show, we talk about the news that's related to the scale world of RC. And over the last week, we had a handful of topics, so let's jump right into them. Recently, there's been some ads run on social media by Horizon Hobby showing a new lower price for the Ascender Ready to Runs. They've reduced the price on a number of the RTRs, some more than others, between $20 and $30. And of course, the K5 Blazer is already gone. But on the remaining versions, they show this new lower price. However, the caption for their ad shows, "Get them before they're gone." It's been said at this point that Vaterra is not going to go away, but in the long run, I have to wonder if that's true. I have heard rumors of a new body going to be released on the Vaterra Ascender platform in the coming months. We'll have to see what that is and if it is the last one of the line. Now that Horizon owns Axial and Axial clearly dominates the market over Vaterra, I could see them putting their focus into the more successful line. We'll just have to see what the long-term plan plays out to be though. Charisma has posted a new model. This is the 1979 Ford F-150 model from them. This looks like it's a longer wheelbase model than the unlicensed Charisma Coyote that we saw earlier. The bed portion of the truck definitely looks out of proportion in length compared to the cab section of it. However, at least now they do have the F-150 license rather than the Toyota Stout maybe that they were modeling the Coyote off of, if I remember correctly. But overall, they've improved some things. Looks like this has chassis mounted servo, number of little things there. I'll look at picking one up in the future, taking a look at it. I did have the original Charisma Coyote in hand at one point and just wasn't overly thrilled with it, but we'll see what this new model comes with the improvements that they've made. If you're interested in any of that, I'll put some links to the available information in the description below. As always, I need to throw some Dancing Rider news in. If you remember the graphite chassis I talked about a few weeks back, Race-Opt has also now released a billet front fork mount on it. It's a simple piece, but looks pretty good. I'll probably need to pick one of those up as well. An Italian company is releasing a 1960s style Formula model that looks pretty cool. It's obviously not off-road in nature, but the looks of it just piqued my interest. It looks really cool. Always nice to see someone kind of branch out in styles. This one I liked. Check it out in the link below if you're interested. Vanquish now has 1.9 stainless steel brake weights. These are for wheels that use a SLW hub and are 1.9 or larger in diameter. Vanquish had previously had 2.2 stainless steel brake weights available, but those were too large to fit in most 1.9 wheels. So if you have some 1.9s, you want to add a little weight to the wheels without doing either knuckle weights or anything like that, here's an option for you. Link in the description below. Axial is releasing clear bodies of some of those models that they've released over the last handful of months. Looks like you'll be able to pick up the Jeep and the Blazer in clear very soon. If I can find links to any of the pricing available yet, I'll link it below. And that's it for the actual news topics. Axial Fest was an absolute blast. It really wore me out though. Definitely couldn't get in to film the Scale News update in time to get it posted on Monday morning like I normally would, but trying to get it knocked out still. The crowd was great, the turnout was amazing, the trails were better than I've ever seen them before. It was awesome to get to meet a bunch of people that came out, said hello, visited the Vanquish booth, said hi to me. I just had a blast. Want to thank everyone who made the effort to come say hello. I really appreciate it. If you didn't see them, I put out some daily videos while I was at the event and in preparation leading up to the event. If you haven't seen them, I'll put them in the card above. And to wrap up the video, I did put a post up on YouTube and Instagram asking for questions to discuss during the Scale News, so we're gonna go over a handful of those. John asked, were there any Traxxas vehicles at Axial Fest? Are they welcome? There was some Traxxas vehicles at Axial Fest, however, they were not welcome there. You're not supposed to bring non-Axial vehicles to Axial Fest. Axial puts a tremendous amount of money and effort into organizing the event, and Axial vehicles only are what you're supposed to be running. But there was a couple that were found on the trails. However, most people were pretty respectful to the rules and stayed with the Axial only vehicles. Some random bystander asked, are there any competition for the TRX4 at the same price range as the TRX4? I think that's a kind of a loaded question. I think there's a lot of competition for the TRX4 at that same price range or less. You know, I think the Axial SCX10 vehicles are legitimate competition to the TRX4. They don't have the locking and unlocking diffs and the 2 speeds. However, I really don't find that to be the features that I'm really looking for. However, a lot of people are. Now, if you're looking for those features specific, it looks like you are going to have a pretty narrow playing field. But as far as, actual competition for that truck, I think there's plenty. There's tons of options on the market already, and I think that a lot of them really stand up side by side with the TRX4 in a lot of ways. This person asks, kit or ready to run? Now, I actually do like a ready to run in a lot of situations, especially if I already really well know the vehicle. I don't mind at that time being able to just pull it out of the box and be able to go do whatever I'm going to, or start the upgrading process with a fully assembled truck. However, there is always a lot of satisfaction to building the kit yourself. Of course, I really just appreciate all of it. Sometimes ready to runs are just a little bit easier depending on what I'm doing. That Midwest F-150 asked, how long is Vanquish going to be making the VS410, and are you guys coming out with any vintage wheels? Now, as far as the VS410, yes, it is called the VS410 Origin Limited. However, the limited really just means that since so many of the parts are made in-house and we have a certain number of, available machine time here, we are kind of limited to what we can make in-house and then put out. However, at the same time, it's not limited in the fact that we're not only going to make X number of units, we're going to continue making them at the pace that we can make them, and that is what the limited kind of means. It's more like saying it's a trim level of the vehicle. Similar to Ford calling a truck a platinum level. 3.slow_ranger asks, what is one thing you would change about Axial Fest, and do you think Axial Fest will be called Axial Fest next year? As far as anything I would change about Axial Fest, I think that's really hard. That event has so much work behind it, and it's really pretty incredible what they do to put on an event of that size with that many people. Now, there is some things that I don't participate in. I didn't go participate in the raffle or the ceremonies up there. I actually found that to be a really good time to go run trails with some friends with a lot less people on it. The number of trails is awesome, even in the times that I was running it, which was usually morning or late evening. The traffic was just really low, and in general had a blast. I really had a blast up there, and I really can't think of a way to immediately improve on that event personally. I just want to say thanks to everyone who showed up, thanks to everyone who participated, and thanks to everyone who put it on. And then as far as the question of do I think Axial Fest will be called Axial Fest next year, that one I really have no idea on. I could see it being changed to another Horizon Fest or Horizon Hobby Fest, like a version of what they did in the Midwest a couple of months ago. But I don't know. I don't know if they'll take and mess with something that's done so well or not. I think what it could really depend on is if they take and either continue the Vaterra line or not. If they don't continue it, I could see them keeping the name Axial Fest, because that would be the one to push and already the one that really dominates the market. I could see maybe in the rules them sliding in that you could run a Vaterra, but beyond that, I don't know. Personally, I think it would be crazy to take away the name recognition that event has, where it's held, the whole thing. I personally think they should just keep running it exactly how it is, but there's a lot of people in a lot of offices who have a lot of things to say about it, I'm sure. Last year, we saw news about the following Axial Fest shortly after the event was over. Hopefully, we start seeing something very similar very soon. But with that, guys, thanks for watching. Leave a comment below if you've got an opinion on one of the stories that we covered, and like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not already. Hope you all have an awesome week, and we'll see you on the next one.